What's happening, everybody? It's Hunter. Thanks for checking into the channel again. We got another how-to video. We're just getting done with the DR Horton house today, out in Castle Rock. And I want to just bring a second to show you guys how we do our window sills. It's just a simple, basic window sill, 1x8 with our apron on the bottom. But today, just a quick how-to. It's pretty simple. It does require a couple tools though, so we'll get into that. But hope you enjoy, and let's do it. All right, guys, here we are. We got our last sill of the house pretty much to make, and it's to show you guys how we build it. So first thing I do when I come to here is I grab out my scraper, and I just take some of the junk, some of the trash that's left. That's the foam from the window, some of the texture, some of the drywall. Get that all cleaned and prepped out. All right, guys, next thing. There's only 3 measurements that we need to know on here. And we'll show you the ears later, but we're gonna take a measurement from drywall to drywall opening. Okay? I'm showing 34 3/4. 34 3/4. Now for our window sill, we're gonna add 3 inches to that dimension. So we're gonna hit 37 3/4, and
the apron underneath
is going to be 1 inch smaller than our window sill or 2 inches bigger than our drywall opening. Either way you want to do the math. I just like to do 1 inch smaller, so our apron will be 36 3/4. That's 2 measurements. One more measurement, guys, and that's going to be our depth. Now in this case, I'm showing 5 1/4, and since we're doing 3 inches over, which would be 1.5 inches either side, I'm going to want 1.5 inches over in the front. So I'm showing 6 3/4 for our total depth of our sill. 6 3/4. 3 measurements. Let's head out to the saw. Back out the saw. We're in the garage. We got just a couple pieces of material laid out here, kind of ready for you guys. It's a piece of casing, and it's a piece of 1x8. Now remember, let's get our block out. Our first measurement for our sill, which is going to be the top, it was 37 3/4. So we're going to mark it 37 3/4. And I'm just going to do a spin over here to the saw. Fortunately, with our Dewalt saw here, we got a line, and you can see the blade, so I don't really have to line it up with my eyes. I'm just going to cut it straight. So we got our sill total dimension cut. Now let's do our apron, and remember, our apron 1 inch smaller than our window sill or 2 inches bigger than the drywall opening. But on our apron for DR Horton, there's just a specific style, so we put it to a 15-degree, lock it. Let's cut one side, turn it over to another 15, and just DR likes their aprons for their windowsills on 15 degrees on the edges here. Come over 36 3/4. And let's do one more cut at a 15 degrees. We got our pieces. All right. Next, guys, we're going to want to run this through a table saw. We're going to want to rip this to our 6 3/4 dimensions. So we got our table saw over here. It is on the ground. I don't like using a stand with how much we have to do all the time. I like it on the ground, easy to move around, move it from maybe one room to the next. I got it locked in at 6 3/4. So now, guys, we're going to take our piece, we're going to turn on the saw here, it might be a little loud, and we're just going to run it through the saw. So, you're going to hear me say this a lot, but if I wanted to rip something as I'm talking about material, that's exactly what we just did. We ran it through a table saw, we ripped it. We're not talking about something else which you might be thinking, but maybe another video for that. Okay, next step is we got our router. This is just a handy Dewalt 20 volt max battery operated router. DR Horton does ask us for a specific router bit. And there is a way to set the depth of this. And guys, I'm not going to tell you, really describe to you. Each router is just a little bit different. This one's pretty simple. It's just a quick adjustment. Just check the instructions on how to set it and how to properly get your bit held into your router. There are some homes where, hey, it's flat stock material and we don't route anything on the window sills. We just do an easy sand and then we head to the next step. But in this case, we're routing. So let's do this. Get our router, let's turn it on. All right. So there's a large plastic piece on the side here, and we're going to want to get that flat on the edge. We're going to want to run it into the material slowly, keeping the plastic to the edge. And just gently move yourself back and forth with the plastic piece still flat on the material. And since it's MDF, you can kind of go back and forth gently just to get your detail perfect on your material. But let's head down the line, just keeping gentle pressure down, pushing forward. A little dusty, but you kind of get used to it. Now we're coming to an end, so I'm going to slow down, keep that pressure, and I'm actually going to kind of pull towards me. But keep that plastic piece flat on your material. So now I've routed the whole way I need to. One thing I like doing with MDF is I like to clean it. So I kind of go back over it a couple times real gently, and it actually kind of just cleans it up for me. Ready? Let's go all the way back. And we'll turn it off. So we got our piece ripped, guys, at 6 3/4. We got our DR Horton specialized router bit route on our piece. We have our apron cut. Next step is to head back into the window sill, and we got to make some marks on here so we cut out and we have the right size ears for the end. And I know I'm saying ears. I'll show you what I mean by these ears. All right, guys, back at the window here. We've got our piece kind of leaned in at an angle. Now it's time to mark it out. The next step will be jigging it. So these lines need to be pretty accurate. So when we put the window sill in, it's just a slight caulk line on either side in order for that perfect finish. So we got our large square. Let's come on in and let's show you how to mark this out. So we've got it in our window, tight against the plastic. I'm just going to want to put my square up against the wall. I'm just going to want to mark a line on the front here. That's going to tell me the exact distance it is without having to measure, just by actually templating it. See the other side, and you know what? It's the same thing. I know the sun's kind of bright with some shadows, but it's the same thing. Putting the square tight up against the wall, just making a nice pencil lead line there. All right, next step here. We're going to get our window sill up against the drywall. And I'm just going to kind of hold it with my hip, because I'm going to need two hands here. Now, on the square, we do have 1.5 inches marked out. So I'm going to kind of get it close to 1.5 inches on the square. I'm going to come over to my other side. And sure as shoot, guys, 1.5 inches on both sides. I'm happy. So I need to hold it right here. I can't let it move for this next step. I'm going to put the square tight up against the plastic. I'm going to slide it over till it hits the drywall. And guys, that's actually really, really good. It's actually pretty tight. I can see a hair of a gap in the front that my pencil lead sticks in. In this case, it's pretty much perfect for me just to draw a straight line. This tiny little pencil gap isn't enough for me to worry about. So a straight line across, making our template. Let's head to the other side. Let's take it in here. All right, to the wall, to the wall. And you know what, guys? This one's actually really good too. So we're just going to draw a straight, perfect line. Once again, we're super tight, just barely a thickness of lead. Let's do a hypothetical here, though. Maybe when we butt up against, maybe there was a large gap. If that were the case, we draw our straight line, but we know that there's a big gap in the back. So we'd want to try to guess our measurement on the gap on this side, and then we'd want to connect our line from the front to the back at an angle. Now, obviously this one was straight, so we do not need to worry about that line. I was just trying to do a hypothetical, so if there is a gap in the back, maybe it's in the front. You can just add a little bit of material and draw your line just to try to meet that angle, try to get it nice and tight. All right, guys, we're back out at the garage next to our tools. The next tool we got here is the 20-volt Jigsaw. Everything's battery operated for us to be able to run in and out, be able to carry stuff around. Everything's battery operated. So 20-volt Jigsaw, and this is the next tool we're going to need to use to cut out our ears for our window sill. So let's do it here. We're going to put our tool down on top of the material, and we're just going to let the weight of the tool, I'm not pushing down towards the ground, I'm just letting the weight of the tool relax on the material. Now I'm going to start it here, and we're just going to push forward, just easy. Pushing forward, and just follow that line. Still just pushing forward. We're going to stop when we get to that pencil line. And we're going to stop right there. We're going to come back this way, and now we're just going to cut this side off. Same thing, weight of the tool is on the material, and all I'm going to do is be pushing forward just gently to let the blade do the work. Pushing forward gently, keeping an eye on the line, blowing the dust when I can, so you guys can see too. And piece falls, we're done. All right, back of the window, piece is cut. Let's see how this goes in. Set it in, I like doing it at an angle, just so we don't possibly damage anything, but man, nice and tight, I like it. It's still a hair loose, we don't want it super snug, but it's in there nice and tight. Perfect, just barely a 16th cock line either side. I'm happy, guys. Now we're going to dive into a quick installation. There is a special way to get it level, to really make it look nice. Sometimes you could just take your gun and shoot it straight down and walk away. In this case, we are professionals here in these track homes, but we are going to level this out and try to get this reveal really nice to the window. Now, DR Horton, I've made a special little block piece. DR Horton does like to have somewhat of a smaller reveal for the window. So I do have a block, somewhat of a template that helps me when I'm shooting 25, 30 of these sills all in the same time. It helps to have a block. So we're going to set the block down. First step, guys, is we're going to get also our gun that's on the floor handy right next to us. There we go. Make sure we got bullets in the gun is also a handy thing to do around here these days. You know what? We can fit one more. Let's throw one more in there so we have plenty. Okay, so we're at our sill. First thing I want to do is I'm going to want to get the reveal that, once again, like I said, DR Horton kind of likes to see. And that's really this thickness of the plastic to our material. So I'm going to get it in the corner here. And I'm going to use my screwdriver kind of as a point of flex. Some people use shims. We don't use any shims, guys. No one's standing on these. So it's effective enough just to have a couple nails hold the piece of material. We don't need shims. If you disagree, I am sorry, but I install a couple thousand of these a year. Next step, guys, is we're going to get our little level here on the side. And let's get just kind of a little view just so they can see what's going on. Now I've got my screwdriver and I'm kind of just lifting up and down. We need our bubble dead center. When we got our bubble dead center, I need to keep pressure on that screwdriver that's holding where I want it to be. Maybe one shot, maybe two. I always like 2 shots. Check it out, guys. Still level, we're good to move on. I like to bring my block all the way to the other side now. Now it's just the same routine. I'm going to get my screwdriver underneath. I'm going to pry from the bottom, get my reveal how I like it, 2 shots, holding it with the screwdriver, kind of creating a fulcrum point with the drywall, holding my screwdriver here. I like 2 shots. Let's get our handy level back over to the other side, our speed level. Always stabilo levels around here as well. Check that out. What do you guys think? Looks level to me. All right, we're going to throw that one back in the tool belt. Next step is to get our bigger level here, and we're going to put it on the front. We know our sides are level. Now we need to check if we're level across. Most of the time, if we're doing our reveal correctly, most of the time the window is set level, so we come pretty close. And come check it out. It's pretty darn close. I'm just going to do a little tap on the side to get it within the lines. And I think that is well enough. Perfect there for a 6-foot level on a 3.5-foot sill or a 3-foot sill. Now come down here, guys, and check this out. We're tied on one side, tied on the other side, but we've got a gap here in the center. I can see daylight. Once again, handy screwdriver comes into play, or we could shim it. Once again, I like the screwdriver technique. So I'm going to use the drywall as my fulcrum point, and I'm going to apply pressure, bring my gun up over, and apply a shot right where I like it. Right where I like it. And look at that. That closed the gap. I do not see any daylight across the front. But you know what? I'm just going to hold it once again for one more shot. Beautiful. Nice and straight. I can now take my level off. This baby is leveled front to back, side to side. I'm going to just add one more screw or one more nail in the back here, just a little bit more pressure. Actually, let's do 2. And guys, our sill is fully nailed in. Next stop, apron. Super easy. And this is 1 inch smaller than our sill, so it's pretty much the thickness of my pointer finger. This is how I do every single sill, guys. I put my pointer finger on one side, check it, put my pointer finger on the other side, and if I like the spacing, let's put 1, 2, 3 on the corner. Let's do one more over here on this corner, 4 nails. Last step that we like to do, just do a quick little sand of the holes, especially on the sills for the painters. It's kind of hard for them to fill these holes if they haven't really been nicely sanded for them. And maybe just do a nice gentle sand just on that sharp edge of your route. Boom. Done. Windowsill. Knocked off. Easy peasy, right? All right, well, just for fun, I got one more. I'm not going to describe this one as much. I'm just going to fly through it. So let's see how long it takes. Just got done with that one. One more. We're just going to roll through this one. I'm just going to do my thing. All right. And it's nice because there's Yellow Wolf playing in the background. Maybe you guys can't hear it, but I like it. Get the level on. Pry. Nice and level. Spacer over. Get my pry under. Get that lined up how I like it. Use that screwdriver. Hold that material. Get your level on there. Use it to kind of help get that perfect shot at level. Boom. Done with that one. Get that in the belt. Done with that one. Get that in the belt. Get the big one up. Check down here. This one's a little bit more gnarly, but we can handle this, guys. None we can't handle. Shoot. A little bit of the tools, a little bit of the right knowledge. We can accomplish anything together. And this is super simple. Just a windowsill. Just a windowsill. Take that off. Apron, finger distance, both sides, guys. Make it quick. And I like it. 1, 2, 3 in the corner, 4 in the corner. without dropping stuff. Quick sand on the edge. Quick sand on top. Done. What do you guys think? Pretty quick, right? If you guys really enjoyed this, please hit that like button. Actually, you know what? Hammer that like button and that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. So much more content. We're just getting started here, guys. A lot of fun things to come. Just another beautiful Castle Rock terrain house for DR Horton. You'll have a lot more, and we'll see you in the future. That's all for now.